Hello, all my yarn lovers and fiber artists out there. Guess what? We have to interrupt my previously recorded video. Why? Something I just mentioned the other day. An emergency yarn sale. That's right. That's right. I just mentioned in a video the other day. I was like, you know what? I might have to change up the times when I post my videos. I often post them at 12, so 3 o'clock in the morning, like international people viewing, and that's great. But then what happens? I gotta get up, 5, 6 o'clock, 7 in the morning, checking my email, and then I find out about a yarn sale. And oftentimes it's those flash sales that are 1 day or 2 day, and my video's already up that day. So now, could I post a second video that day? Sure, but guess what? There's like millions of videos on YouTube, and then that bumps my own video, my previous video, down in the algorithm. And with millions of other content creators that I'm competing with, I don't actually want to compete with myself too. So, did I have a video recorded for today, Thursday? Yes, I did, but we can bump it. That's fine. So, today's yarn sale, go ahead and ask me, hey, May, what yarn sale are we talking about today? We are talking about the Knit Picks Socktober sale. That's right, it is Socktober. I almost forgot it was Socktober. In fact, I started knitting a pair of socks for Socktober in the very yarn that's on sale. And then guess what? It's October. Not just Socktober, but October. And all the other fun Halloweeny projects, kind of got in the way. And so, yeah, I completely neglected that pair of socks that I have started in here. But they're in this room somewhere. They are. Maybe we'll get to them in November for Christmas gifts, or December, or January, because you know what? We still need good socks in January, right? So I am recording this video the day I got the email, Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. The sale, you'll see this video on Thursday, October 23rd, and you'll still have 4 whole days to shop the sale. You'll still have the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th, okay? So first thing I want to get out of the way is that I will do my very best to include a link directly to the sale in the description box. It is not an affiliate link. I don't get a percentage of your sale. If you shop through my link, I just would put it there for convenience for you, okay? Knit Picks does not sponsor this video, and they don't send me free yarn to make this video. Alrighty, so then I'm sure, oh yeah, they're not like responsible for the content anyway in this video. If I make a mistake, you know what, that's on me. I'm doing my very best to bring you the deals and the steals, because everything is really expensive. So if you're wondering then why I would make the video, well, because if you don't know yet, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name's May. I love yarn. I love to knit and crochet. Those are my hobbies. And I also happen to have been born visually impaired, legally blind, and completely colorblind. So I mostly knit and crochet by feel. And I do love yarn, and so I want you to love it and enjoy it as much as I do. So the yarns that are on sale for Socktober are Palette and Hawthorne fingering. Okay, now Hawthorne comes in a fingering and a DK weight, but we're just talking about fingering weights today for socks. So let's talk about the Hawthorne fingering first, because you've seen them for Sock Week. I will also try to link this up in the description box. These are my Sock Week socks that I designed and described them. You want to finish it Friday, so you too could make these socks. I designed these myself. Toe up. Look at the heels on these socks. No short rows. No short rows. Yeah. Bottom up, toe up. No short rows. No pick up and knit. Yeah, you do all your shaping with increases, right? And then decreases. Knit 2 together, slip, slip, knit. Amazing. So these, as a fingering weight yarn, this Hawthorne fingering is 80% superwash Highland wool and 20% polyamide or nylon, basically for strength, okay? And that means it does mean it is machine washable. It's a fingering weight, so this right here, this is the size of your strands. Right here is a fingering weight yarn. these are about 300 and I want to say 57 yards on this skein. I think, gosh darn it, I can't, it's 347, 357. I can't read the tag right now. But they recommend that you use a knitting needle US size 1 to 3, so 2.25 to 3.25. And for these socks that we made up here this summer, I did use a US size 1 knitting needle. So that 2.25 knitting needle is what these socks were made up on. Of course, you could use, you know, the 1.5, right? The 2.5. You could do that too, I'm sure. But for me, for how I needed these to fit, this worked good for me. And as I have probably like an average woman size foot, right? So 7.5 to 8, depending on what shoes I'm wearing, right? So with this 357 yards in the hank, I was able to get the pair of socks. These socks go about, I'd say 2/3 up the way of my leg, up my calf, in the rib. So for a woman who has, or somebody who has feet the size of mine, you could definitely get a very nice pair of socks out of just one hank. If you have much larger feet than mine, you're probably going to want to get that extra hank, 2 hanks to get a pair of socks from this, right? Just to be sure. And of course, these are done in rib on that 2.25 needle. So if you were doing a different sock pattern even, you might also, you know, like you might need to get another hank, or if you're doing a larger needle size, if you're working on a size 2 needle, you might need, you know, an extra hank. So you know, you do you on that one, you decide. So these, this yarn is a sock yarn. It's not merino, right? So it's a little bit more of a durable yarn. It's a sturdy, I'm going to tell you, this is a really, really nice sock yarn because it's durable and it's sturdy, right? This is going to hold up to, like, you know, working outside, keeping, if you work outside or you're a hiker or you like the outdoors, you do outdoor activities, this is going to be really, really nice, and it is machine washable. I love, love, love merino wools, but you know, they can be a little bit delicate, right? Look at the heel on that. Love it. So they can be a little bit delicate. So this makes a nice, sturdy, durable sock. So for Socktober, yes, we're definitely talking socks. And I want you to make my socks, or any socks. I just want you to knit socks because, hey, Christmas is coming up soon. Winter up here in the northern hemisphere, well, it's right around the corner. Socks are great. They're great for yourself, and they make a great practical gift for, you know, family members, friends, co-workers. And you know what else? They're even great to donate. If you're like, I got enough socks, my family doesn't want socks, that's fine, but you can donate socks too. A lot of people love that. So just keep all those socky things, those options in mind. But of course, right, you don't just have to make socks with this. This would make gorgeous, gorgeous shawls, okay? It just would. This yarn would make absolutely gorgeous shawls. I haven't made a shawl with it yet, but you know I want to, right? You know I want to knit or crochet a shawl with this. I think, I would do either a knit or crochet shawl with it. We'll talk about crochet with it in a minute. And of course, I have never successfully crocheted a pair of socks on fingering weight yarn, okay? I've crocheted like the big slippers and like the, you know, the bulky yarns and stuff, but I've never done a pair of crochet socks on sock fingering #1 weight yarn. But let's talk about that for a minute. If I didn't, oh, here we go. Can you crochet with it? Yes, you can. Look at, here's a little bit. This color is called Klamath Falls, by the way. This is the leftover from my socks. Look at this, just for you all. I got out my little E-hook, right? Because I was like, can you crochet with it? Right? And I've only ever really successfully crocheted a whole project in fingering weight yarn once, but I did a hat, and this yarn would make a beautiful, beautiful, like top down crochet hat. Absolutely gorgeous. But look at this granny square. Oh, so stinking cute. Look at that. That is adorbs, yo. That's adorbs. So think about when you start thinking granny squares, you're like, so much potential, right? I mean, you think about all the things you can do with granny squares. You could absolutely crochet granny square type projects with it. Yes, they're gonna be so tiny and cute. It would take a ton of these to, like make a blanket or something, but I mean, you could. I used the e-hook on this. I think you could crochet a shawl with it too. I mean, yes, you can make gorgeous knit shawls with this, okay? Gorgeous knit shawls. But I think you could also make a crochet shawl with this. And because with shawls, we like them open and drapey and airy, I certainly think you could bump that hook size up to an F, maybe even a G. I don't know, but an F for, I think, for sure. Especially like a granny stitch type shawl, right? Like a triangle shawl where you just start at the point and then you work out, and maybe just do like granny stitch or something that's open, or V stitches where you work into just like spaces and stuff. Because I know with these tiny fine yarns, it can be really, this is the size of your strand. It's not the finest. I'm gonna be honest with you, it is not the finest fingering weight yarn. I think it's a nice size fingering weight yarn. I think it's a thick, I've certainly felt thinner, finer fingering weight yarns. So but as we know, if we crochet, right, that it can be really hard to find those tiny little stitches where to go, even on an e-hook, right? So, but if you do like a granny stitch or a V-stitch shawl or something, then once you get that basic, foundation done, then you can just like work into the spaces and it goes a lot faster. So definitely think about that as a possibility. I certainly think you could do like a top-down hat, sort of like this granny square, right? You could do like a magic ring type situation and do like a cute little top-down hat with crochet. I also think you could knit hats with this, right? I mean, you can make some beautiful hats with this. And I think it's going to be gorgeous in cables. In fact, the socks that I was starting to design and work up for Socktober that aren't going to make it for Socktober, maybe Christmas. They are beautiful in cables. I think if I can find them back, so we'll have to think about that again. But beautiful, beautiful cable work. And don't just limit your cables to socks, right? It's a fingering weight yarn, but we all know you can make beautiful cable sweaters and cardies with fingering weight yarn. You can make dresses, tops, all kinds of things. I've made tank tops with fingering weight yarn, and I think this would make a beautiful tank top, or like short sleeve top or sweater with some lace. You won't have to do a lot with these yarns because they're so busy, right? Already there's a lot going on with them, so you don't even have to do like a complex pattern if you don't want to. Okay, so now this comes in 4 different types too. It comes in a kettle dye. It comes in what this is called as a tonal. The socks that you're looking at, this is called tonal. And then it comes in multi, and it even comes in speckle, y'all. I don't even have any Hawthorne speckle yet. OMG, it's gonna be so hard for me to not shop this sale. I mean, let's be real. My October yarn budget is blown. Christmas shopping for the family. Lots going on there. Don't know how I'm gonna make it work, but you just know that went 30% off. I'm like, ooh, should I get some in speckled? And there's at least a couple of other colors that I really want to get. So we'll figure out if I can get fancy and clever with my math and figure out how I can do any more yarn shopping this month. Yeah, yikes, huh? So let's talk about this color in my socks, the Klamath Falls. So it looks like worked up in rib and in stockinette on the bottom. And then this is what it looks like in the hank. It will come in hanks, not skeins, so you do have to wind it yourself, right? This is Klamath Falls, which is beautiful tonal, Klamath tonal. It's got navy blue in it as your darkest color, and then it's got Delft and denim blue, so it's fading. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? It's fading into 3 different shades of blue there, at least. Yeah, look at this, you guys. You want to crochet with this now, don't you? You want to make little teeny tiny little granny squares or something with that. So gorgeous. So let's talk about another shade that I happen to have here. This is the Delphinium Kettle. It's another blue. I just said recently, I'm like, Oh my goodness, I actually really love blues, and I do because as somebody who's colorblind, right, I struggle to match. I love the beautiful reds and the purples and stuff and the pinks, but I struggle to match those. And so the blue I feel like is such a great neutral. And so this I have it in Delphinium Kettle too, which is like a midnight blue. So it's a little bit of a lighter. It says midnight blue. I just read the description on the website before I made this video, I promise. Midnight blue, cobalt, and violet blue. So I don't know how blue violet blue is. I don't know if it might have just a hint of purple in it. I don't know, but hey, if you love blues and you're wanting to know the difference between these two, the Klamath and the Delphinium, here you go. Even for me, as somebody who's colorblind, even I can tell that the Klamath is definitely a little bit darker, right? The Delphinium is just a little bit lighter, Klamath just a little bit darker. Both absolutely gorgeous, though. So I would highly recommend, even if you're like, nah, I don't know, socks, shawls, sweaters, scarves would be beautiful with this. And then of course I do have it in the volcano. Look at this. This is like, I think they said, I just read the color description again on the website, volcano kettle. I think this is like, I think it said ruby and scarlet. So some of those really, really dark reds. I haven't even taken it out of the plastic yet. And there's some other gorgeous colors on here that I'm really, really interested in.
Enter password.
Okay,
English,
so let's look at it. Hawthorne fingering. Let's look at some of these colors.
Hawthorne fingering confetti speckle.
Confetti speckle. That sounds kind of interesting. Confetti speckle. You guys know I use a screen reader, and one of the reasons why I shop at Nitpicks is because they have the best color descriptions on the internet. So let's learn about confetti speckle.
Throw a party with this fun-loving colorway. The white background is the perfect blank canvas for pops of purple, fire engine red, yellow, forest green,
oh
and
my
a deep
goodness,
blue.
that sounds beautiful. So white with blues and reds and yellows. Look at that. Let's see, I think they have a swatch. I think there's usually like a full-on swatch out of that. That's kind of fun. We might have to get some speckle, but they also had some other colors that I was really eyeing.
Conifer kettle.
Conifer kettle. Okay, I don't have any conifer kettle in the house yet. And Christmas is coming, okay?
A majestic cathedral of nature's lush greens, conifer is akin to a walk through an old-growth forest.
Yeah, this sounds beautiful. This conifer kettle. I can't wear a lot of greens. I can't wear like your pastel greens, but look at that green. Like, I feel like you could make a beautiful, beautiful sweater with that. I also feel like even just like decor with that, like an adorable little tiny like crochet, like we love to do, if you crochet, you love to do like crochet Christmas ornaments. Like how cute would that be? Like a little tiny little crochet Christmas tree out of that green. Adorable. Yeah, I'd probably make my socks first with it, and then if I had leftovers, like I had that little ball left over from my socks from the Klamath, and then use that to make like a little crochet Christmas tree. So stinking cute. And then you can put those on your gift packages. Like if you made the green socks for somebody for Christmas and you wrapped them up and then you crocheted like this adorable little tiny Christmas tree out of it, you could stick it on that package like with your gift tag. How cute, right? I mean, come on. So that's a color I don't have. You know I want it. Am I going to figure out how to get it? Maybe. We'll have to figure that one out. Do some tricky math, right? Hayden Multi. That's another color that I'm interested in. I've already read the color description on it. It's supposed to be reds and purples, right? My favorite. It does say it has some persimmon in it. And well, I said it before, I can't wear oranges. So I don't know how orange it is. Because to me, I think of persimmon is like a orangish type color. So I'm a little bit hesitant to buy that one because I don't know how orange it is. I think it said it was like reds. I did ask the AI too, by the way. I do use AI, Google Gemini, to describe color to me. And I think it said it was like reds and burgundies and purples. So I'm pretty interested. In that one as well, look at that. So pretty. Oh my goodness. So, lots of color options with this one. I am really going to think about how I could get some more of that in the house. And then the other yarn that is on sale. Sorry, you guys have to listen to my screen reader. That's what I do. I know it drives some people crazy. It drives my mom crazy. My mom complains about my screen reader. Anytime on the phone, my mom's in her 70s. She doesn't know how to shop on the internet by herself. So she'll call me on the phone, ask me to help her with her internet shopping, and then she'll complain about my screen reader. She's like, shut it up. Oh, shut that voice up. And I'm like, well, you ask somebody who's visually impaired who uses a screen reader to help you with your shopping. So, that's just how it is, right? So let's talk about palette. Let's see. Let's see. I can't. Hawthorne. It took me back to the Hawthorne fingering. I'm trying to find the Sorry about that. I touched the wrong place on my screen. Okay, palette. So let's talk about the other yarn that's on sale. It's a Socktober sale. So there's only 2 yarns on sale. You can also get it in bare, which means it's natural, like it's kind of like an off-white, and then you dye it yourself. I have not yet gotten that adventurous, okay? And the palette also comes in bare, natural colors, so you can dye it yourself. The bare even comes in like a giant cone, right? So if you wanted to like dye your own or just use that for like kind of an off-white, palette is a 100% Peruvian Highland wool. Now, I want to be super clear about palette. It is not super wash, okay? This is a yarn that is going to shrink, okay? If you wash it in hot water or you put it in the dryer, it's going to shrink on you, okay? I want to be super clear with that. But hey, if you want to do like felting or something, right? Like on like a big felt hat or slipper. Some people have felt slippers and love it. Purses, bags. Just know that once you keep washing it in hot water every time, it's gonna keep shrinking. So now I'll be honest with you, I don't buy a lot of hand wash yarns, and when I do, it's usually some kind of specialty yarn, right? Like it's like an alpaca or an alpaca blend or a silk or like yak, right? We just looked at some yak yarn on my channel the other day. So I don't buy a lot of hand wash yarns. And then plus it's a fingering weight yarn too. So, some of us like to work with yarns that are a little bit bigger most of the time. So I don't have a lot of palette in the house. I have palette only in 2 colors. I have it in the fuchsia and I have it in the hazelnut. So, this is what your palette's going to come in. It's in these 50 gram, these little donuts. These are 231 yards in the palette. Hand wash. This is the size of your strand on the palette. It's a nice fingering. I think it's a nice fingering. Again, it's that Highland wool, not merino. So it's not your super, super soft, delicate yarn. It's a little bit more of a rustic yarn. It's a little bit more of a rougher yarn. I don't think it's too scratchy for some things like garments and stuff, but it's not your softest wool either, okay? It just isn't, right? It just isn't, but it's still really nice. I don't even think I have a finished object in palette. I think I started playing with that palette in the fuchsia and then realized it was what I bought super early in my yarn shopping days. And so, in fact, this is like the old labels, right? If you're familiar with knit picks, these are their old labels where the knit picks is in the large print and the type of yarn is in small print. And for somebody like me who's visually impaired, well, I can read on these newer labels, right, on the Hawthorne. I can still read the big print on the Hawthorne, right? And I know that's a knit picks yarn. So I absolutely love that they've changed up their labels and they put the specific type of yarn now in their new labels in the large print. So people who are visually impaired know what that is. So I love that about the company, besides their great color descriptions. So as another fingering weight yarn, again, I would use that size 1 to 3 knitting needle, right? Just like the Hawthorne fingering. So the 2.25 to the 3.25 with your crochet hook. I would again go from your about B or C, probably like that B, that 2.25 all the way up to a E, so you're 3.25. And again, if you wanted like a shawl with it to knit or crochet with, crochet, you could bump it up, I think, to a F or something. for something lacy and airy and stuff. But I think most people think about palette because it's a hand wash and because it's a little bit more of a rustic-y. Well, I think most people, I don't know of anybody who crochets who uses this. I'm sure you could though. But I think most people, some people knit socks with this and love it. I really like machine washable socks, but you absolutely can make beautiful wool socks with this. I think the best thing about palette though is that the color palette, it has a really huge, ever expanding color palette. I think it's one of Knit Picks' earliest yarns. I think it's been around there since I started yarn shopping in 2010 or something. So at least 15 years. I think it's been around, earlier than that. So, and I don't think it's going anywhere. They keep adding to the color line. So even though, someone like myself, it's not my favorite, clearly somebody really enjoys it because they have not considered getting rid of it. So, the fuchsia and the hazelnut, which is described as sort of a russet brown, so a reddish brown. I tend to think it's more on the brown side than the red side, but I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. But I think more than that, with all the colors, I think you can make some really gorgeous like Fair Isle color work, like your traditional Scandinavian type sweaters, right? With the little pictures and stuff, the little color work and Fair Isle stuff. So I might, at some point, I only have hazelnut and fuchsia. I don't really know if I could put these two colors together in a project or not. I don't know. Probably not. But palette might make a really nice type Fair Isle Scandinavian type cardi or something. So who knows? Maybe I'll have to get some in red and white one of these days and make myself a nice cardi. I think Fair Isle hats would also be really pretty with this. Like you could see some beautiful, like those Fair Isle hat designs. Gorgeous, just hand washed. I think even gloves would be beautiful, right? Like because you got when you're making gloves to go around your fingers, it's so few stitches that, in my opinion, it's challenging to do that with bulky weight yarns, right? You want to make those gloves in like a fingering or a sport weight if it's got full-on fingers. Now, if it's a fingerless glove, you could absolutely do fingerless gloves and all kinds of weights of yarn. But for gloves that actually want to cover all the way to the top of your fingers, you're going to have so few stitches already around your fingers that a fingering weight yarn is definitely better for that, right? So if you wanted to do like some Fair Isle gloves, even any kind of gloves, I think this would be good for. Just remember hand wash, yeah. And I do kind of like to wash my gloves a lot because when you're out in the world and you're touching things in the winter, it can be cold and flu season. So there are germs everywhere. So that's something to keep into consideration about, whether or not you want to make hand wash gloves. But they would definitely make some nice gloves. And some fingering or some color work type gloves where you got some patterning on it or something. That'd be really pretty too. Again, your shawls and your wraps, that kind of a thing. So I think this is a nice yarn. It's just not like my favorite at Knit Picks, right? So who knows if I'll get some in red and white at some point to make myself a cardi or not. I got so many other projects in my head. Don't know if I'll get to that, but certainly for those of you who don't mind it, who want something for color work, who want to try. I always say yarn sales are the great time to try out a yarn that's new to you, right? Because that way you feel like, okay, at least I'm not spending a huge amount of money. Palette's a pretty affordable yarn anyways. Don't know where I just put my phone at. Let's see how much it is on the sale.
System UI. $33.84.
$3.84 right now.
30% off.
30% off, $3.84 per donut. So you could just get a couple of these, $3.84, right? Try it out, make yourself like a little scarf or something, or a hat with it. Find out, do I like it or not? Is this yarn for me or not? So that's a great opportunity to try it. It's a great time to stock up on yarns for gifts, right? Holidays right around the corner. So, alrighty, my friends. Well, thanks so much for listening. Let me know your thoughts on the yarn sale videos. Do you like it when I all of a sudden throw in emergency yarn sale videos and interrupt the schedule? And, we just want to get the sales out there, right? Everything really is expensive. And so when I can help you save 30% on your yarn, I want to do that. I want to tell you all the deets, all the fun things I think you can do with it. And I want to help you get the best deals and steals out there. We love yarn sales around here. So Okay, my friends. Well, you know what I'm going to tell you? Shop responsibly, right? Happy shopping, of course, right? And you remember what I have to say to myself. May, you can't eat yarn, right? So I have to say that to myself a lot right now. You can't eat yarn. So I do want to eat in November. I do want to eat in November. So, you know, shop responsibly. Make sure you got all of your essentials covered first. And you know what I always say, don't take shopping and financial advice from me. Because yarn math is like shoe math, right? For me, shoe math, you donate a pair of shoes, you buy 2 more. When I work with yarn, I'm like, I just knit a sweater. So guess what? I can buy enough yarn for 2 sweaters now. Yeah, that's how my yarn math works. So, you know, just keep that in mind. You might not want to use my yarn math, but happy shopping, shop responsibly, have fun, say hello in the comment section. Of course, let me know, was this helpful? Did you shop the sale? What yarns did you get? Are they new to you? Are they your favorites? Because I love the Hawthorne, and I'm really going to see if I can figure out how to get some of the conifer and some of the Hayden, because it's gorgeous. So, okay, let me know your favorites. Let me know if you're going to crochet an absolutely adorable, teeny tiny little brownie square with it. What? That is so cute. Okay, my friends. Well, until next time, happy stitching. Bye-bye for now. Unburied from my pile of yarn here, right? Oh my goodness.